So, hi, Mark. Nice to see you
Hello,
here.
Diana.
This
Good to
is
see you.
our first video, pre-recording video, covering the themes of authentic leadership. We were highly encouraged to start making these videos with some of the questions we took note from our clients and our friends who are interested in what we do and they want to know more. And as an introduction, some of the themes that come up are really about how to be an authentic leader in the world and what that means. And it normally comes as people want to reconcile their ambitions with their values and with their actions. They want to have a more cohesion between their work and their personal lives. They want to make a difference and they don't know exactly how to do it in a world that seems so different to what they would like it to look like. And we also have got some questions about how to keep enthusiasm, how to transform the ideas into results, and even how to be in the personal development area and be wealthy. and one of the questions that was highlighted that we decided to answer today was, yeah, should you follow your passions? How to balance being optimistic versus realistic. Wow, Mark, yeah, what would you say about this?
Okay, so love the question. And I look forward to answering, and I look forward to hopefully disagreeing with you, Adriana, so we can get into a good discussion about it. Because I have quite strong views about this one, so we'll see.
Hmm.
So in my opinion, the good news here is that there is no need to seek a balance between optimistic and realistic. That there exists such a thing as the single perfect decision, and it's reachable. And there also exists a whole range of decisions between perfect and the inverse, so as awful as possible. And the task of the leader or the person in question taking the decisions is to land as close as possible to the perfect decision. So for me, the first step is recognize that it's possible to take a perfect or excellent or decent decision, not worry about the optimistic, realistic, not worry about that, and then respect the steps in order to reach that decision. So everyone is a bit different, so everyone has their own ways of doing that, and this my personal way is what I'm going to describe now.
Hmm.
So it also depends on the depth of question that's being answered. So I'm going to pretend that this is a really deep and complicated answer, and it's going to determine the whole of the next year of your life, for example. Day-to-day decisions will have a slightly different process. So the first thing I do is I set aside a container of time, and in my particular life, what this sometimes looks like is isolating myself in a cabin in the woods, off grid, no devices, no internet, no mirrors. And within that container, I will study, I will take the question. And I mean, the question that's been asked is probably in reference to other questions that the asker might have about their business, about their future. So I take that question.
Hmm.
And one way to then answer it is to journal about it. I might personally do a meditation first to sort of clear the pipes, and then I'm really sort of focused on this. And in terms of the journaling, I'm just basically trying to answer it. So it's like, what, no pressure, no pressure, because what I journal, it doesn't matter. I don't have to do it. So without pressure, I just write, what do I think is a good idea? And depending on how I feel about that, I might just be like, I'm going to invent another scenario. In fact, the scenario I might come up with is the worst, what's the worst thing that can happen if I do option A? And I kind of do that until I find, or what often happens is I find that that's not very likely because I can avoid that in all sorts of ways. So then I might write another scenario, and I will actually just keep going until I've reached a point where in my journaling there's just one option that feels like it stands out and it's so obviously going to go in this direction, and the step I need to take is so obviously this one to maximize the chances of a good outcome. Um, And I mean, the way I'm talking about it now, it might seem a bit like there might be questions about how that would work, but the experiential process, it feels obvious if enough time is dedicated to this journaling practice. Um, so it also doesn't have to be journaling. Sometimes it's good if there's a co-founder and it's a deep conversation. You might want to go take a weekend away and just discuss this. The main thing that's needed is space and time to dedicate on this.
On the reflect.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, that's my main thing. And in my experience, if there is enough time given to this, there's always an answer that is reached. There's not been one experience in my life where I haven't got an answer that I'm like 100%, this is the next step to take. Doesn't
Lovely.
always give me the end, but it does give me what should I do today?
Today in
That's
this step. It's great. Thank you so much, because what I feel with your answer is that you addressed the question directly, and then you provided with a methodology that has been working for you. So let me just summarize or reflect, as it helps me to also see if there's anything I can add from my experience. So yeah, so there is not a perfect balance. And the first thing is to recognize that there is not a perfect decision between, can I stay optimistic? Shall I be realistic? Should I follow my passions? And it's actually a more open question, is that comes from that perception. Yeah, that I can, as an authentic leader, as a leader, a successful leader, I can try to get as closest as possible to the perfect answer, right? And the best balance in this case. However, the process of getting there is not so much about finding the balance of, what should I be doing? And it's actually the process of reflection. And it may be that you journal because you have this opportunity to isolate yourself, to not be distracted, to allow the full expression of your journaling. And that journaling can also be mimicked when you have a co-founder, when you have a colleague that is in the same boat with you, and you dedicate attentively deep reflection with each other. That may look like going on a weekend together. Maybe we should definitely calendarizing that for ourselves, Mark. I do recognize that some of our best decisions come up from deep reflection. And yeah, there's anything you would like to add more to?
Yes. So the question asks about whether one should be more optimistic at times or more realistic at other times. I'd like to add that optimism hat and realistic hat are hats, and therefore they will necessarily be approximations of what you should actually do. And I think we need to move beyond approximations. I think a great leader is one who's not got any approximations, not got any hats, and is just listening sufficiently to the present moment. And that can be through reflection, through journaling. That's where we kind of synthesize that. And then take the best decision based on the current situation. If we've got a hat, we're then going to twist into some other path, which is going to be, yeah, somehow contaminated. So yes, that's why I say drop the hats, believe that there's a best decision, and then do the process to get to that best decision.
Beautiful. I really like that. I actually recognize. And I think my own spiritual practice, Kundalini Yoga, helped me to understand the hats in that way, because I do find that some of my hats kick more than others, or I place first some hats than others, and it really depends. So for example, the optimistic mind, right? I really want this to happen, we're going for this, we will, like, whatever energy I need to put in this place, and I will always get more energy, right? I'm endless, a source of endless energy for my beautiful ideas. And yet another hat that I find really useful is like, oh, wait a second, I'm not completely feeling it. I have had an experience in the past. I can learn from that experience. And that means that my decisions maybe needed to be more conservative. And we have experienced that as we decide to go forward, you and I, right? There is this like, oh, let's go forward, optimistic. We'll do it this time. Or wait a second, what is the reality here? And I really like that idea that I can hold both both energies within me. And then in the present moment, definitely has helped me to make the decisions, including the decision of staying with my passion and doubting if I'm going to be able to manifest it today. Yeah. And I really like the notion that you bring, you will feel it. I do feel it in my body. And that's where I start talking from that place. I say, look, I just realized I cannot make a decision right now. I think I need to slow down, right? Or the other way is like, I actually feel there is something here. There's an intuition going here. I go for this. I like this person. I really want to work with this person. I go. I don't know exactly how, but we'll go forward and we'll continue to book meetings, right? I think it's more difficult to teach this to leaders. I think we are in that area of innovation. We are teaching how to use the body wisdom to tell us what best decisions are to be made when we are so intellectual and cultivated. But on the other hand, I think that's really what links to the authentic leadership. We are always everything. We are always our bodies, our minds, our intentions, our hearts, our spirits. So, yeah. To conclude this question, should you follow your passions? Let me ask, I actually would like to add something. I think we always follow our passions. The thing is, sometimes the passions we are following are not the ones we think we are following. So sometimes and I give an example, is sometimes if I feel I'm a little bit more reserved, I may be following my passion of taking care, of making the conservative decisions, and that's a passion too. So it's another way of looking at it. So before we finish, Mark, would you like to add anything?
I would like to add that if you, as a leader or as a leader of yourself, if you do follow the process that we're talking about of a more embodied decision, the experience will be that you were just the right amount of realistic, just the right amount of optimistic, just the right amount of strategic, or to the greatest degree that you could have done. And that also feels fulfilling and satisfying. So this, in my view, is the ideal decision-making tool.
Fantastic. Yeah, absolutely. Always the right amount. Amazing. Well, this is us for this theme. We have many other themes we love discussing, and we love to share with you, those of you who are getting access to this video. So let us know how this is for you and keep in touch. Let us know more questions, because we do love to think about these themes and how to include more of the whole self into our leadership and the change we can bring to the world. So all the best, and stay in touch. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.